Well, communities all over the world are recruiting remote workers and offering relocation incentives to land new residents, and that includes right here in Indiana in a big way. MakeMyMove is the nation's first and only marketplace that matches people and their families to communities. It was founded by Hoosier entrepreneur Bill Osterly, a co-founder of Angie's List, and Evan Hawk, a former executive at Angie's List. And I'm pleased to welcome Evan to the show with more on how it works and what is a growing trend. Evan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
This is, to me, one of the interesting stories, and I think really fueled in part by the pandemic, but you got remote workers who can live anywhere. MakeMyMove connects those workers who may be in California with the ability to come here to Indiana. Talk about how it works.
That's right. I mean, we're seeing a real generational shift. Workers can choose where they want to live and work independent of their employers, and many workers are taking their employers up on that. They're moving from places like San Francisco and New York to places that maybe not long ago were considered flyover country. And so really this is open season for communities across the Midwest to recruit remote workers directly. So our marketplace connects those remote workers with these incentives and helps them make a move.
You talk about incentives, and I think this is one of the fascinating pieces of it. A number of communities are doing this around the state. Greensburg, as an example, and one of their incentives is having grandparents serve as babysitters, right? So it runs the gamut, really, on some of these incentives to get people to live here.
That's right. You know, some communities are offering cash, some are offering amenities. Greensburg was a great example of their incentive package really communicated what was special about their region, which is the people. And so connecting those remote workers to their new community. And the highlight of that package was Grammy Tammy, who is offering free babysitting services and to stand in for grandparents on Grandparents' Day.
That's very interesting. Bloomington Remote is what we want to talk about today, too. The Mill, co-working space there, one of the entities involved there. I talked this week with Lauren Shields from Tampa. She's a contract or a content strategist for a big tech company. She chose Bloomington as part of this process, and I asked her why Bloomington?
Yeah, I came from the south suburbs of Chicago, and I've lived all over the country. I've lived in California and Atlanta and New York, and there just isn't any place like it, and I just missed it. I tell people I'm constitutionally Midwestern. I have a very particular sense of humor, and I'm practical, and I'm a little conflict avoidant. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really high on Bloomington. What she liked was they aren't offering financial incentives, but things like a seat on a nonprofit board, which really attracted her. So it's really interesting how creative these communities are getting.
And the more creative, the better. You know, people have left these places historically, not because they aren't great places to live, but because they've gone to find jobs. But now that they can bring their jobs with them, they love places like college towns and Bloomington. Yeah. Great places to live, lots of stuff to do, great communities.
Really interesting, too, in Bloomington, the Bloomington Remote, they've attracted so far 14 workers, and the economic impact, the estimate, is at $1 million to the local economy. So there's economic impact to these communities.
It's enormous. You know, we commissioned the Public Policy Institute to help us calculate the value of these people, and they bring enormous value from their spending in the local economy, obviously their tax impact. Somebody making $100,000 moving to a place like Bloomington is bringing $83,000 a year in incremental economic impact.
Yeah, and we were talking off camera. You really think Indiana is a leader in this space? I know there was a bill that passed the State House this year.
Yeah, I mean, there are half a dozen communities already across the state that are offering these programs. Senate Bill 361 aims to help support those communities, offer funding for them. Also, the IEDC is offering matching funds to support these programs. So really, Indiana is a leader, and we expect a lot of other states to follow our lead.
Is this something, I mean, I would assume it is, but a trend that's really just going to continue to pick up steam as things go forward?
I think this is the new norm. I mean, for many decades, communities have offered incentives for companies to relocate, and they're really just devoting a lot of those dollars to start attracting individuals.
Yeah, and then a final question for you. Do you think the Midwest, Indiana and the rest of the Midwest, are really maybe even better positioned to attract these remote workers?
I mean, people are moving for quality of life, and we have great quality of life. It's affordable, our people are great, lots of stuff to do. I think we're going to win the talent wars.
Evan Hawk is co-founder of MakeMyMove, really interesting company that is making a difference. You're seeing some impact. So Evan, really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right.